back to 5-Minute Major. We are joined in the penalty box with Hockey East Commissioner Steve Metcalf. Steve, it was a pretty solid weekend for Hockey East. You were able to play about 17 of the 21 games originally scheduled. A couple of big games for teams like UVM and BU, but give us a quick recap from the weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Natalie. Yes, generally, like you mentioned, we're finding ways to play the vast majority of our games, which is, obviously what we're trying to do. We had Boston University play their Boston University men's team play their first games of the season, and they picked up a win on their second game. The Vermont men picked up the first win for their new head coach, Todd Woodcroft. So, first one of many, I'm sure, for Todd. So that was great for the UVM program. And, just having more teams available, I think, as we talked about last week, is obviously good. We have the ability to play more games and make more matchups. But there's always something with the scheduling. There's always some changes here and there, and that's, I guess, what we're used to now.
Right, and that kind of leads into my second question. Right now that you have all teams playing now, there's a bit of a discrepancy, as you said earlier, kind of an offset in games played, where some teams have played 2 or 3, others 12, 13. So what is the future scheduling like, and how are you going to try to get those teams caught up?
So, yeah, that's a good question. And I guess a question a number of folks asked me, last week. It's a situation now where, we're going to try and get everyone as many games. We have more possibilities because we have everyone up and running. Certainly there's going to be a concerted effort to get, Boston University as many games as possible. But we're also going to be inserting some midweek games into the schedule. And, for some of the schools that are, in closer proximity, certainly the Massachusetts schools, they're going to be more easily able to play some of these midweek games. So we think, especially until school starts, in a couple of weeks, that we may have situations where teams are playing 3 games in a week. And, coaches and administrators, are fine with that because they want the kids to play the games. And, quite frankly, coaches are probably, some of the teams are sick of hearing from their coach at practice. They'd rather, rather play a game instead. So, I think we've got more flexibility because we've got more teams up and running. And it's also a situation where if someone is unavailable at the last minute, there are options usually to find a new opponent for them. So no one's sitting idle when they're healthy and available to play.
Right. So that kind of talking about the availability of things, how do you work with certain teams' availability during the uncertainty?
So we're in constant contact with the administrators at all the schools, and usually have one or sometimes 2 people at each school that speaks directly to scheduling on behalf of that institution. And everyone's been really good at getting back to us very quickly. And so I'll give you an example. Last Friday morning, we had one of our teams unavailable for that weekend. The AD called me at 9:03 in the morning. By 9:28, we had found an opponent for the team that he was supposed to play. His team was supposed to play that weekend, and we had a kind of a handshake agreement. 25 minutes later, it was going to be a different opponent, and instead of a Friday-Saturday, it was going to be a Saturday-Sunday series. But that's how quickly things change, and we just we have a good understanding of who's available, and then we just make the matchups. And so no one's sitting idle when they want to be up and playing.
Absolutely. Well, we only have about a minute left, but what do you do when teams only have a certain percentage of players available? Does the show must go on, right?
Yes. So we've set a guideline in our return to play policies. We have 15 players and 2 goalies, and then you can go ahead and play the game. And quite frankly, there were coaches that suggested at the beginning of this, even if the coaching staff was unavailable, just let the kids play. I said, wait a second, coach, like your players are just going to do their own lines? He goes, well, if we have to. But no, 15 skaters, 2 goalies, and 1 coach or designee to coach the team, and the game will go on. So we will certainly have games played with less than the optimal number of players, but enough players to play the game, and that's what everyone wants to do.
All right. Well, perfect timing. Our time is up now, Steve. Thank you so much for your time. You gave us a lot of great insight this week, and I look forward to next week.
All right, Natalie, thanks very much.